All right, let's talk 6-6. So we got two types of situation is what we're working on. And our first problem is another which one doesn't belong. So we're probably picking up on by now that it's going to be all of them, right? You can answer any one you want. Well, let's talk about specific reasons why each one wouldn't belong, all right? Got one, Autumn?
Oh, I said the very first one.
This one here?
Yes, I said that one doesn't belong because it's the only one with parentheses.
Parentheses would be a good reason. Chesney, you got one?
The one underneath that one, it's the only one that has a dot to represent.
Only dot for multiplication would be a reason on that one. Kellen, you got a reason?
I put the bottom right because the 9 is in front and the equal sign, and I don't like it.
9 on the left. It's unique, right? Our equal sign has only one number on its left in that one. Jared, you got one?
It's not left because it has no parentheses.
Well, 3 of these have no parentheses, so they could be similar that way. Anybody see anything so we can get at least one reason for that top right? Got something on it?
It's the only one with the X right next to the 3. Like,
X next to the 3. Here we have X next to a 4, but 3X is different. Georgia?
I think all of them just don't belong.
Yep.
Because they're all different.
Yep.
They're all unique.
They're all unique. All right. So this is also the only one where the solution won't be the same if you actually go through and solve these. That would be different than all the other solutions. Anybody got anything else there? Or are we okay on that one? All right. So as long as you explain why, whichever one you pick, you're good to go there. All right. So 6-2, we got a card sort again. And we're going to give you cards, and it says sort the cards into 2 categories of your choosing. So you can sort them however you want. You can pick your own category, and then be prepared to explain the meaning of your category. So you got to have some reasoning behind it. You can't just go left, right, and call it a good day. You got to explain why you're putting them in those categories. And then once you're done, I'm going to come check it, and you're going to have to find another way to sort those. So if you want to group up in 2s or 3s, we got enough cards. You guys can work in pairs there, all right? So once you get these sorted into your first category, I'll come look at them, and then you can try another category. You good, Brian?
Wait, we have to explain. Wait.
yeah, so like that. I'm just gonna say that it's like the same. She said, yes, it won't be.
Like one of this. This, as you can see, is on the left side of That's good enough. God, Kaylee. God. I don't even know words.
Yes, find another way.
Okay.
All right. Start gathering those up,
You did so well.
and then we can talk about how we categorize them.
Yeah, it's taking a long time to put those together. I want to, before you do the homework, talk about the warm-up. I see 5 of them got it wrong, so
Okay.
I wrote it behind you.
All right. Yeah. We'll talk about the categories and then we'll do that. All right. Corbin, you wanna come show what you got? You can come. Why don't you come put it under here so we can show it for the recording?
Which way does it go, like that?
That'll work. You just gotta get it under there. Zoom out a little bit. There you go. All right. So we saw this one a lot. Corbin, why'd you sort them like this?
Because 100 was on the right and then it was on the left.
All right, we had 100 on the left for the equal sign, 100 on the right. All right, so that one was pretty common. Thanks, Corbin. Yep.
We're supposed to take a picture.
Yeah.
No, we're just having these guys so they can show them up here and talk about it.
Okay.
You guys want to talk about your consent?
Okay. So. Okay. So on the left we have the adding, and then on the right we have multiplication.
So that one was pretty unique. I don't think anybody else did that one, right?
We did.
You guys did that one?
Well, no,
Did
we
you?
were going to do something else. We were gonna do 8s and 9s.
8s and 9s.
But some have 8 and 9s, needed whichever numbers we're doing some bad ones.
Okay. And then the other one, if you want to show the other one, that was pretty common.
It's the exact same thing. We didn't move it, but
Yep.
the parentheses are on the right, and then no parentheses are on the left.
Yep. So we saw that one a lot too. So again, as long as you're able to explain the categories there, you're good to go. I thank you guys. All right. Now before we get further into the lesson, let's talk about that warm up quick. The first thing we do in this one, if we're solving for x, Kellen?
Oh, well, what I did was find what you would have to what number you'd have to take times 4 to get 38.
All right.
That's what I did first.
Okay.
I know that.
And then minus
So either way is fine. But let's go divided by 4. If we divide both these by 4, you get x plus 7 equals what?
Equals 9.5.
9.5?
Then I forgot to take 7.
Yeah,
And then what do we do next?
I put 9.5
Subtract seven.
into 30.
We minus 7 from both sides. So those cancel out, and then x equals 2.5 there.
Yeah.
Alright? So did you find 2.5 for this, Cal?
Yes,
You did
I
find
found
it?
I just put
9.5.
9.5.
I found 9.5 and then forgot to take 7 from it.
No, I knew it was 2.5. I
Alright.
just put that
So
on.
just be diligent there and make sure we're putting in the right answer. Alright? Alright, let's keep going on 6-6 now.
I didn't tell them.
Alright, so 6-3. We have 2 tape diagrams and 2 stories again. Josh, you want to read story 1?
Sure. Lynn had 90 flyers to hang up around the school. He gave 12 flyers to each of 3 volunteers. He took the remaining flyers and divided them equally between 3 volunteers.
Alright. Which diagram do we think would go with that story? Which one best represents that story?
I think B.
B? Why B?
Because it looks
Go ahead.
Because Y is 12 is the original flyers, and then the Y is like how many she gave up after she already did
Alright, so she gave 12 flyers to each of those 3 volunteers. So here we have our 3 volunteers, and then 12 flyers. And then she took the remaining flyers and divided them up equally. So that would be our Y, as those remaining flyers. Alright, so then that leaves A. For this one here, it says Lynn had 90 flyers to hang up around the school. After giving the same number of flyers to each of the 3 volunteers, she had 12 left. So they all got an even number of flyers, and then there was 12 left, is how that one works out. Alright? 2, it says in each diagram, what part of the story does the variable represent? So for story 1, we had B. What does Y represent there? Chesney?
How many flyers she gave to each of them after she gave them each 12?
So we'll say how many remaining flyers each student got. All right, and then what does X represent in that second story? Evan?
Oh, how much each of the volunteers got
Hmm.
from them?
Equal number of flyers each student got. All right, so now 3 is going to ask us to write an equation that shows those tape diagrams and those stories. So let's start with story 1 here. What would our equation look like? All right, so let's start. Story 1 is B here. Chesney, you got an idea?
Yeah. I plus 12 in parentheses times 3 equals 90.
That looks good to me, right? Do you see how we got there? We have y plus 12. 3 times here, we got 3 boxes. So we multiply y plus 12 times 3, and our answer is 90. So that equation looks good to me. How about an equation for A now, Jessam?
X times 3 plus 12 equals 90.
All right, so x times 3 we'll just call 3x, but that's the same thing, right? And then plus 12, because we have our 12 here, equals 90. All right? So now we got to solve each of those for number 4. Bless you. So let's start here. What's our first step in solving this one? Kellen?
Dividing the thing divided by 3.
So we're going to divide both sides by 3. So on our left side, those will cancel out, and we'll have y plus 12. And then 90 divided by 3? 30. Next. Colin?
30 minus
Both sides minus 12, right? Make sure we say both sides there, because we got to get those to cancel out. And then 30 minus 12, Brooklyn? 18. So y equals 18. And now over here, Brenna, what's the first thing I got to do in this equation? Subtract 12 from both sides. Remember, always say both sides there. Now these cancel out. We have 3x. What's 90 minus 12? 78. Now we're going to divide both sides by 3. 78 divided by 3. Brooks?
78 divided by 3 equals 26.
26. So x equals 26 in that one. All right, we all okay there? All right. So now on the Are You Ready? Brooklyn, you want to read that? Are you ready?
A tutor is starting a business in the first year. They start with 5 students and friends and charge $10 per week for an hour of tutoring for each client. For each year following, the double the number of clients and number of hours each client will be charged 150% of the charges of the client from the previous year. Organize the weekly earnings for each year in the table.
All right, so we're going to make a table here to represent this. So I'm just going to do it off to the right here. First column, we're going to call our year. Our second, we'll call our existing charge. Third column will be the rate of a new client. And we'll have how many new clients. And then our last column is going to be the weekly rate. All right. All right. So this is what our table setup should look like. Now our existing charge is going to be our charge from the clients the past year. So since we're just starting up, we won't have any there. The rate of a new client, what did it say the rate is? What was she going to charge? Veronica? What's she going to charge per week though? $10. So rate is $10. And then how many clients did she have? 5 that first year. All right. So it gives me a formula for our weekly rate here. If we call this P, or this is going to be Q, this will be P, and this will be X. We're going to have P times X plus Q will tell us how much she's making each week. So we're going to take our rate, how much we're charging them, times the number of clients, plus our existing charge. So if we take P times X here, 10 times 5, 50, plus our existing charge, which is 0, is just 50, right? So each week we're making $50 that first year. All right. So now in the problem it did say that for each year following, they double the number of clients. All right, so the next year, we're going to have 10 clients. And what's our existing charge going to be from the past year? 50. All right. Now it said that each new client will be charged 150% of the charges of the clients from the previous year. So what's our new rate going to be for new clients in year 2? Multiply by 1.5. Say it again. $15. All right. So now P times X plus Q again to figure out how much she's making a week. So 15 times 10, 150 plus 50, 200 is what she's making a week this year. All right. So again, our clients double. So we have 20 new clients this year. What's our existing charge? 200. All right, and now we got to take this number by 1.5. You can use your calculators there. You got it? 22 and a half. All right. So now P times X, 22 and a half times 20. Corbin? You have a question? Chesney? All right, and then plus 200 for our existing charge? 650 is what she's making a week in year 3. All right, year 4, this is a little confusing because we're going to kind of skip to question 2, and it tells us, assuming a full week is 40 hours per week, how many years will it take to reach full-time and how many new clients will be taken on in that year? All right, so we're working with each of these guys 1 hour a week. So we have 35 hours now. So how many more clients would we need to add to be full-time if full-time is 40 hours? 5. So we're only going to pick up 5 new clients in that 4th year. So it kind of changes off the doubles. All right. What would our rate for those new 5 be this year? 22.5 times 1.5? 33.75. And our existing charge from our previous clients? 650. These are all dollars. All right, so now 33.75 multiplied by 5, our P times X. All right, and now plus 650 should give us $818.75 is what she's making per week if she's full-time. All right, so now we have our table filled out. We can answer the questions. So going back to 2, we already kind of have it answered. We just got to write it down. It says, how many new clients will be taken on that year, and how many years did it take her to reach full-time? So how many years did it take her? 4 years. And how many new clients did she bring on in that 4th year? 4. So 4 years, 5 clients is our answer on number 2. All right, number 3 on the next page says, after reaching full-time, what is the tutor's annual salary if she takes 2 weeks of vacation? So how do we figure out her annual salary? How many weeks are in a year? 52. So if she takes 2 weeks of vacation, how many weeks is she working? 50. So we take our full-time weekly salary here multiplied times 50 because she's working 50 weeks. And that'll tell us how much our tutor makes in a year. Colin? 40,937. 37.50 cents is our annual salary there. All right, so then 4 says, is there another business model you'd recommend for the tutor? Explain your reasoning.
Multiply times 2 instead of 1.5.
Charge more. Charge more would be one way to make more money. Any other? Another one, Josh?
Get the answers wrong, so they have to come back to you for more.
Sabotage.
Yes.
All right, I think you're going to lose some clients,
No.
but it might work for a little while.
Those first clients got by pretty cheap. Maybe you should just bump their price.
Yeah.
Take forever in that hour to answer like a couple questions so that they just like keep coming back.
So work more hours.
Exactly.
All right.
More hours, less work.
More hours, less work. Charge more, work less. All right. Let's get into the homework now. All right, number 1, the school ordered 3 large boxes of board markers. After giving 15 markers to each of the 3 teachers, there were 90 markers left. The diagram represents the situation. How many markers were originally in each box? So we can try and solve just by looking at our tape diagram here, or we can set up an equation to help us solve that one, whichever you would like to do. All right. 2 gives another diagram, and it gives the equation, and it just says, you have a question on number 1? Or on 2? It says, explain where you can see the 6 in the diagram. This is homework, Josh, so you can do that on your own. All right, so just explain where that 6 is represented in that tape diagram. 3, it says Elena walked 20 minutes more than Lynn. Jada walked twice as long as Elena. Jada walked for 90 minutes. Here's our equation, and it just wants us to match each amount in the story with the expression that represented. So these are all parts of our equation, and it just wants you to tell which part of the story the variable or a number represents there, all right? And these will all have an answer. So one of those One of these will be used twice. All right, and then 4 is just a lot like what we've been working on. Gives you 5 stories, and then 4 equations to match to those stories. So again, one of those equations will be used twice. So just match those up there. Any questions on the homework? All right, go ahead and get rolling on that.
I have one comment, guys, before you get to